friendos, Kdog here. Continuing on with our Christmas films marathon. I think this is going to be the last one of the Christmas films. So, yeah, we're getting pretty close to New Year's, and so Christmas is about over. So, yeah, the reason why I continued it on because not everybody celebrates Christmas on Christmas Day. A lot of times they go to the distant families, grandparents and whatnot, and they have Christmas there. So, what we're going to do is we're going to watch the last Christmas movie for this marathon. And you know how the last movie we watched, The Santa Claus, with Tim Allen from 1994? Well, what's interesting is that his Toy Story co-star Tom Hanks also played Santa Claus, along with many other characters in the film we're going to watch tonight. From 2004, we have The Polar Express. Hold it upside down. The Polar Express from 2004, released by Warner Brothers, directed by Robert Zemeckis. This movie is quite the interesting movie to be watched. It has so much heart, and it's so much eye-popping effects. It's just amazing how they pulled this off. And we'll talk a little bit about the film after we watch it. Of course, the film is rated G, so gather the family around, get your snacks, get your drinks. Let's gather around the TV as we watch The Polar Express. So, The Polar Express from 2004. This is a movie I went absolutely crazy for. I thought it was amazing on what they did back in the day. Um, it was a little confusing when the film let out. I was actually in college down in Vincennes University, and the little movie theater there was showing it, and which is now an AMC theater. Not to give a plug to AMC theaters, but it was an AMC theater. It's an AMC theater now. But I remember walking out, and of course the theater was a little full. And this theater is not a big theater. It was only an 8-screen theater for a fairly large community. It's a small theater, to be honest. And of course, with it being a family movie, family movies generally will have a bigger audience attendance, especially like in the first couple weeks or so. And the Polar Express, I think I saw it the opening weekend. I'm not quite sure, but I remember seeing it when it first came out. And when we walked out of the theater, when the movie was over, everybody was scratching their heads. They were thinking, was this a live action movie? Was it animated? Because it looked too digital, but at the same time we see credits roll as, say, costume designer, set decorator, things that would be associated with a live action movie production was associated with this. As it turns out, it's kind of a hybrid of both, and we had no idea of what this was. Of course, motion capture technology was still brand new, and it was brand new, very brand new to the movies. Motion capture was mostly being done for video games and simulations and stuff like that. While in terms of movies, this was really the first time we had really seen something like this. just prior to the Polar Express, Peter Jackson had made the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or was in the middle of making them. Um, yeah, it was after the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and so Gollum, which was completely motion capture, and this movie took that one step further in being 100% motion capture. And of course, you don't see too many movies like this. There's been a few that have come out post Polar Express. Robert Zemeckis did two himself with. He followed it up with Beowulf and Disney's A Christmas Carol. And then, of course, several other directors have followed, and like Steven Spielberg, he's done The Adventures of Tintin, and he's done BFG and Ready Player One, which are all motion capture movies. And so it's around, but it's not really. It didn't really take off like I think they set out to do. I don't know, but it was one of those things where we walked out of the theater and you're going, what was this? How did they do this? It was just amazing. And now we know how they do it. They don't do it as often as, as they predicted, but yeah, this is a common thing now. And like I said, I went crazy over this movie when it originally came out. Of course, when I do that, the first thing I want to do is get the motion picture soundtrack. And that's exactly what I did. So, back in 2004, I still have the CD. Here's the original CD, which was released on Warner Sunset Records, Reprise Records. Now this would be released on Water Tower Records, but because it's a movie soundtrack from Warner Brothers. Yeah, and I played this thing like crazy in when it came out. And then this year, I was in my local FYE, and I found the vinyl version, which was kind of underwhelming, to be honest. I think the CD has a bit more extra stuff in terms of like artwork and things like that. It does have this, which is like a collage of pictures from the film, and on the back it has credits. And then it's a snow-colored white vinyl. How about that, huh? Kind of cool. But that's about it in terms of the vinyl release. I was kind of surprised that I thought there would be a little bit more to this. But yeah, the Polar Express, closing out our Christmas movies. I was going to do more, but the problem is the movies I had picked out, they were on television quite often. I don't know how many times I saw AMC playing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That was on the list. Also, Home Alone. Yep. A Christmas Story. Of course, TNT and TBS were playing this 24 hours. So, the point of watching this together wasn't really there. And the Disney's version of A Christmas Carol. Well, the Jim Carrey one. This is the third adaptation that Disney has done with A Christmas Carol. But, yeah, that closes out our Christmas movies. I'm not quite sure what we're going to be doing next. Eventually, I want to go on to another film series. Actually, that was a made-for-TV movie series. Yeah. So until that time, this is me, Kdog, saying, see you later.